Well, if you watch the video that the BBC has released, it says that they're talking about two universities, University of Lagos, UNILAG, and University of Ghana, UG. Now, they've talked about lecturers in the University of Lagos. They've also talked about lecturers from the University of Ghana. At least we've seen two so far. One of them is Professor Ransford Gyampo. So we've come up to have a conversation with him, whether he has seen this, whether he has even heard about it in the first place, and what he makes about it. Prof, you're welcome to City Newsroom.
Thank you.
You are all over the news, continental news, as having sexually abused students. What do you say about that?
I'm sure you watched the video. Did you see anything about sexual abuse? I'm asking you.
What did you see?
I didn't see anything like that. I have not done anything like that. And let them know that if they are doing the bidding of their paymasters, I understand the game more than they do. About 2 weeks ago, BBC wrote to me that they have evidence that I'm doing sex for grades. And I said, oh, I don't do that. I'm aware of my university's policies and I know the kinds of things that I do and how I take politicians on. And so I'm particular and careful about some of these things. And so I wouldn't do such a thing. And they said that, well, they have an evidence to show that a lady visited me and so I had some conversations with her, and they find the conversations between me and the lady to be inappropriate. And first of all, I asked, the lady was not my student. We had interacted on phone and WhatsApp for over 1 month, and we had established a certain kind of friendship that made us free to be talking about certain things, in very informal, manner. She wasn't my student. You see, strangely, everything that the lady said to me have been edited, and everything that I said is being played. So when they wrote to me, I also wrote to them explaining the circumstances under which we had our conversations and all that. Not that, excuse me to say, I went to sleep with her, I went to fondle her, I went to touch her, I didn't do anything of that sort. Just our conversation. So I told them that we had established, you cannot pick our conversations out of context. We had established the kinds of things that she told me. I referred them, and these conversations were all held in public. There were some of them that were held in my office with my 4 assistants who were there. They are prepared to testify and to say whatever we discussed, which we all laugh about and all that. I've referred the BBC to go talk to them. They said they wouldn't. I've told them that if it is truly sexual harassment, then the person involved must be my student. They agreed that the person was not my student. And so then where lies in the harassment, where I would be able to have the opportunity or I have the power to change the person's grades and all that. She's not even my student. And the other point I'm making is that if I have harassed somebody, why don't you want to use the sexual harassment? It's criminal. The university itself has got its own internal rules and committees that handle these things. So if BBC means well and they haven't been paid, I'm aware. I mean, I know I've received several messages, text messages, WhatsApp informations about politicians wanting to kill me, politicians wanting to bring me down, and doing all manner of things just to be able to call me into submission.
Prof, this person that has been caught in the video with you, what is your relationship? How did you come to know them?
The lady.
Since she's not your student.
Well, in my usual, I'm always busy. I don't have time for anything. I got to my office around April. I was in a rush. Then my assistant, she's there, you can reach her. My assistant, Harriet, told me that, Prof, I am pleading with you. This lady has been to your office for about 20 times. Anytime she comes, you are not available. So I've asked her to wait for you under the trees. And I knew that you would be coming around this time. So I'm pleading with you, meet her. I said, okay, bring her in. So she came to the office. And then we had a conversation. What was the conversation? She started by saying, I admire you, you are confident, you articulate, I like the kinds of things you do to keep politicians on their toes. I said, my sister, what brought you here? Because I'm in a hurry. And she said, actually, she wanted me to be her mentor. I said, no problem. And she told me that she was doing a paper that she feels I can be able to advise her with respect to how she should go. What was the paper about? I'd spoken vehemently against the draft Public Universities Bill. So she came to tell me that she was writing a paper on academic freedom, and she feels that my comment on the draft Public University Bill could be helpful, and so we should have that kind of conversation, about how she can go about writing the paper. And we sat down, I advised her, and that was the beginning of our conversation. Subsequently, she sent me messages with 2 different phones. One, she said, don't keep this one, it's for my friend. The other one, yeah, we can keep. I made sure, I am cautious, and so I made sure that in my WhatsApp conversations, I didn't say anything incriminatory. But the point is,
you have these WhatsApp threads to show if it need be.
Well,
WhatsApp chats with her.
Unfortunately, I used a phone that had a very low memory, and I explained this to the BBC, a very low memory, and so every time I have conversations, if I'm going to sleep, I delete all my messages, and so I don't have even the conversation I had with her on a regular. I don't have the one I had with the other line that she asked me to receive. I don't even have. But the point I'm making is that, so in the course of our conversation, she will wake up every morning and send you a message, greet you, wish you a lovely day, and blah blah blah. So because of that, we had established a certain friendship over a period of 1 month.
Did it become an amorous relationship over a period of 1 month?
Well, in the course of our conversation, I'm a man. The kinds of things that she was saying, I admire you, I want you to be my friend, and blah blah blah. I also told her, well, I also want you to be my friend, and we can have a relationship. I must be honest with you, but I said all these things with the knowledge that she isn't my student, and she's not somebody whose academic future or fortunes I can influence. And so whatever conversation, at the point I say, you are going to be my third wife, and I said this, and my friends, my assistants in the office were all there. They said, we are jealous today. You said this is my first wife, this is my second one, now you've brought in a wife. In that kind of jovial atmosphere and a kind of relationship. So
did she say anything also on similar lines? Did she say to you that she would want to marry you, for instance?
No. We to be fair and to be honest, she didn't say anything like that. But the point is, we're having a conversation, and she never objected to anything that I said. Everything that I said, she would laugh about it and say, oh, you too. Those kinds of things. And we were just having, the first time that she said something that I could describe as amorous was the first day she entered my office. Okay. And subsequently, her seductive dressing that I commented on, and my assistants were
dresses seductive.
Oh yeah. Such that you should be able to see and say something about. And all these things went on, and there were people there.
So you tried to date her? Did you try to date her?
No, we didn't. The first time I met her out of my office was when I was having something to do at the mall.
She said you were asking to come to her house, and she convinced you to meet at the mall instead.
No, this is what happened. I told her that I was going to meet some people at the mall. And listen, if you ask my students, you can go around and ask. You have been my student. The first day she came to my office, she was neatly dressed with the high heels and all that. And I love high heels. So the moment I saw, I said, look, this is the way I expect people going to look for information to dress, so that you can get the information you have. So the next day she came to my office. She was very shabbily dressed, well, seductive, but down, she was just wearing some flute.
What do you mean by seductive?
Well, she had popped up her boobs, and my assistants were there. They themselves had to complain. And then that wasn't even what I was going to talk about. What I was going to talk about was, but last time you were so neatly dressed with your shoes and all that, but how come today you've dressed? I said, I don't have money to buy wedge. Wedge is a kind of shoe, but that one is more comfortable. I don't have that. I said, oh, don't worry. Now that you've become my wife, I'll buy you some. And she said, okay. So the next time I was going to meet some colleagues, at the mall, I called her that, look, I am home, but I'm going to the mall. I know we'll be meeting on Monday, but if you wouldn't mind, you can pass by. We can go together, so that maybe after my meeting or before my meeting, we can have some conversations and all that. So show me where you are, so that I can come there to pick you. That's what I said. Okay. That's what she meant by I wanted to go to her house. So show me where you are, so that I can come there to pick you. She said, okay, she's going to show me. I should give her some time. Then in about 1 hour to 2 hours time, she told me that she's already at the mall, so I should go. I said, okay, no problem. So I could imagine that, well, if she's been at the mall all this while, then maybe she's been waiting there for long. So let me go. So I drove there. The moment I go there, she's told me that, hey, you promised me you're going to buy me a shoe. And so where is it? I said, let's go to Bata. We went to Bata. I was going to buy her one shoe. She picked 2 shoes and I paid for it. After picking the 2 shoes, we went to sit down and I ordered a meal. I didn't even buy some. She got the food, and then just before she could eat the food, she said she had a call. There's an emergency. She had to go home. And I said, okay, let them pack your food for you. They packed the food. She was about going. I said, hey, no, my friend, can't you are going, can't we hug? And he said, oh, I'm in an emergency, so I have to go. I said, okay, go. Let's meet another time. 2 hours after her departure, I called her. He said there was an emergency. So what is the state of affairs? So I'm sorry for not calling to update you, but everything is well. This is all I know about the story. The next time I heard was BBC writing to me that my conversation with her was inappropriate. And I'm saying, if that conversation was inappropriate, how does it amount to me sleeping with her and changing her grades?
In the video, you are seen saying that I'll kiss you, I'll marry you. You admit you did those, you said those things.
We had a certain informal relationships, conversation, and this is what obviously they have edited so much of the content. She was showing there was something on her phone. Okay, there was something on her phone that I chanced on it. I mean, she was I don't know whether it's a movie, but somebody was. It's like a movie, and so I saw something like that. Have you ever been kissed violently before? And he said, oh, no. I said, okay. Then she was like behaving like she was shy. I said, look, be free and be open because we are friends. If you don't take care, I'll kiss you violently so that your shyness will go away. And then we all laughed about it, and that is all.
Know your character to, offer grades for sex in this school?
I have never done that, and I will never do that. That is me, Ransford Gyampo. I have never done that. I will never do that. Go and ask my level 400 students who just finished and they are just writing. They are just doing their national service.
So now that this documentary has been broadcast to the whole continent, in fact, to the whole world, and your video is in there, you have spoken in there, and the allegation is that you have been engaged in sex for grades. What are you going to do to clear your image?
I keep telling you that, or asking you to also make your own take on it. You've also seen the video. Well, this is a clear case of defamation. And initially, in my response to the BBC, I told them that I would leave the matter to God and to their conscience. But my lawyers insist that we must teach them a lesson. So tomorrow morning, they will see our defamatory suit against them. We will sue them.
You sue the BBC?
Yes, you will sue them.
Will you sue the lady as well? Do you know her? Do you have an address?
I think that the lady was just hired and paid to come and do what she did. And she said she's called Abigail Lamte. And I have every grounds to believe that it's maybe a pseudonym. And we don't know where to find her. Ever since, she went off her phone and you can't reach her.
You've never slept with her?
I can't do that. I've never done that.
You never attempted to sleep with her?
You saw the video. I have not done that. I won't ever do that. I'm a gentleman. I've taught for 14 years. Not a single report, formal complaint of sexual harassment or sex for grade has been launched against me on my file.
Thank you so much, Professor Ransford Gyampo. That you've heard his side of the story as clearly as he can put it.